Chapter 1. The Caged Bird. Dust swirled through the streets of Tumblebrush, a god-forsaken speck of a town pressed between the unforgiving desert and a ridge of black rock. It was a place where law came late if ever, and kindness was bartered, rarely given. Inside the rusted bars of the holding cell behind the sheriff's office, Eliza May Harper sat cross-legged on the dirt floor, hands folded in her lap, her wrists still red from the iron shackles they'd removed. Her dress was torn at the sleeve, her left eye slightly bruised. But she held her chin high, though her heart beat a rhythm of shame and desperation. Her crime? Poverty, loitering, vagrancy, they called it. What they really meant was that she didn't have a man to vouch for her. Her father had died 2 winters past, her mother the summer before. When the family farm was seized by the bank, Eliza wandered, hoping to find work. Instead, she found Tumblebrush, where the sheriff had locked her up like a stray dog. Behind the bars, men came to gawk at her like she was some exotic thing. Some laughed, some threw coins, one offered to buy her out. But Eliza didn't flinch. She knew what they wanted. She wouldn't give it. Not even if her belly was empty or her soul hollow. "Don't be long before they sell you off to the brothel in Laredo," sneered Deputy Clyde one morning, tossing her a dry hunk of bread. "Poor girls ain't got much say out here." But fate hadn't counted on Grayson Holt. Chapter 2. The Widowed Rancher. Grayson Holt rode into town with the slow gait of a man who'd seen too much and still carried the weight of it. He was tall, broad-shouldered, with streaks of silver in his coal-black hair. His face was sun-worn, his boots caked with prairie dust. He was a widower, father of 5. His wife Rose had died in childbirth 2 years prior, leaving him with 4 boys and a newborn girl. Since then, Grayson worked his ranch in the outlands with quiet diligence, keeping his family alive, but his heart locked away. He hadn't planned to stop in Tumblebrush, but when one of his ranch hands took sick, he rode in for supplies and medicine. That's when he saw her, Eliza, sitting behind bars, her cheeks pale, her lips dry but defiant. Their eyes met. For a second, the whole town seemed to vanish. The clang of hammers, the bark of dogs, the saloon piano's discordant tune. There was only her sorrow, and his sorrow meeting it halfway. Grayson walked to the cell. "What's she in for?" he asked the sheriff. "Loiterin'," Sheriff Dobbs spat. "She's been sleeping behind the church steps. Claims she's looking for work. She ain't stolen nothing, hurt nobody." "Nah," said Dobbs. "Just another burden on this town. Thought we'd send her to Laredo, make some coin." Grayson's jaw tightened. "You can't sell people." The sheriff shrugged. "She ain't exactly a lady with options." Grayson stared through the bars again. "What's your name?" "Eliza," she said, voice quiet but unwavering. He nodded slowly. "You got kin?" "No, just myself." "Would you work?" he asked. "Help raise kids, clean, cook, maybe tend livestock?" She blinked, the first tear betraying her pride. "Yes, I'd work." "Then she's coming with me," Grayson said. "Right now." Chapter 3. A Home of Her Own. Tumblebrush was quick to judge, quick to scorn. They whispered behind Grayson's back that he'd lost his mind, bringing home a cage girl to raise his children. But he didn't care. He knew loneliness, and he saw it in Eliza's eyes. The way she fed his baby daughter with trembling hands, the way she swept the porch before dawn, and wept when she thought no one saw. The children, especially little Maybelle, clung to her as if they'd known her always. Still, it wasn't easy. The ranch was hard. Coyotes took 2 hens that week. One of the boys, Eli, broke his arm falling from the hayloft. Eliza worked till her bones ached. But she never complained. One night, over beans and cornbread, Grayson watched her laugh softly at something Jessie, the second eldest, said. The way the firelight hit her face, it softened her sharp edges. She wasn't the same woman in the cage. She was healing. So was he. Chapter 4. Blood and Loyalty. But danger in the Wild West was never far behind. Late one evening, a wagon rolled up fast to their fence line. Grayson's hand went to his rifle instinctively. Out stepped two men in black dusters, slavers from Laredo. "She's ours," one of them growled. "Sheriff sold her." "No, he didn't," Grayson said, stepping between them and Eliza. "Paperwork says otherwise. You want to come near her, you'll have to go through me." The taller of the two drew a pistol. "We ain't asking." Grayson didn't blink. "My boys are behind that door. My daughter's asleep inside. I'll die before I let you take her." Then Eliza stepped forward. "I'm not property," she said, her voice clear as glass breaking. "You'll get nothing from me. Not one night, not one coin." And then came the sound of several clicks. 4 boys behind the windows, rifles drawn. The slavers backed off. "Be seeing you," one hissed. "Not if I see you first," Grayson replied. Chapter 5. Hearts Made Whole. Days turned into weeks. The bond between Grayson and Eliza deepened, not with declarations or kisses, but with shared burdens. Fixing a broken fence together, reading by lamplight, watching the stars. One evening, Grayson sat beside her on the porch. "I never thought I'd find someone who could understand," he said. "I never thought I'd find a place I didn't have to earn just by surviving," Eliza whispered. He looked at her. "You've earned more than most ever will." And for the first time, he reached for her hand. She didn't pull away. "Grayson," she whispered, "I'm not asking for promises. Not yet," he said, voice thick. "But I'd be honored if you stayed. Not just as help, but as family." A tear slid down her cheek. "I'd like that." Chapter 6. Redemption. They married beneath a cottonwood tree out back of the ranch, just the children, a preacher from Ridgefield, and the wind through the wheat. The town didn't know what to make of it. But when the Holt children came to town, clean and well-fed, speaking kind words about their new mother, people started to see. Sheriff Dobbs retired not long after, and a younger, fairer lawman took over, one who didn't sell people for being poor. Eliza never forgot the cage, but she wasn't defined by it anymore. She was defined by the way she rose, by the way she loved. By the way, a widowed man with 5 children saw her as more than poor, more than broken, as someone worth saving.